In today's episode, learn everything you need to know about becoming a self-employed finance broker. Hey everyone, this is the People's Broker and welcome to the show. When I was setting up my finance brokerage firm 2 years ago, the biggest dilemma I faced and most brokers faced is whether to go directly authorized with the FCA or go down the route of becoming an appointed representative or an AR. In today's episode, I will tell you everything you need to know about becoming an appointed representative. What are the responsibilities as an AR, and what are some of the pros and cons of working as an AR for a network? Before we start with today's episode, please give this video a thumbs up, give this channel a subscribe, leave me comments and send me your questions about things you'd like me to talk about in the future and other questions you may have about you or your business. Without any further ado, let's get to work. So guys, first things to understand is what exactly is an appointed representative or an AR as it's widely referred as. An appointed rep is a person or firm who runs a regulated activity but acts as an agent of a directly authorized company. The authorized firm is called a principal, so this will be the network you decide to represent or join. And there's plenty of them out there. You can do your research online and see who are they. When you make this decision and you decided to go an AR and you decide which network you're going to work with as an AR, there will be a contract between yourself and the principal, which is the network. The principal or the network takes full responsibility that an AR, you, will comply with the FCA rules. So a lot of the onus falls on them. So that is why before you join as an AR, you have to go through an application process, an approval, and the principal or the network will do their due diligence on you. What are some of your responsibility as an AR appointed representative? So you need to understand and comply with the regulatory requirements for the business you conduct. So even though the onerous, as I mentioned earlier, lies with the network or the principal, but you need to understand the regulations and requirements of the FCA. And the reason being is if you want to continue trading as an AR for this particular network, you need to be able to do that and act almost as if you're directly working with an FCA. So you're responsible for that. You need to allow principal firm access to your staff, premises, and records so they can carry out checks and audits. And that is connected to the point I mentioned earlier. So the principal or the network will always keep a check on you, make sure you're compliant and you're not breaking any rules or anything like that, because at the end of the day, it is their neck which is on the line with the FCA because they are the ones who is directly authorized with the FCA. So what are some of the responsibilities of a principal? So principal is responsible to do checks on the AR yourself, that you are firstly financially stable and you're competent for your job or the activities you're going to carry out. The principal is also responsible for products an AR sells and arranges, advice that an AR gives to customers. Also, principal has to ensure delivery of 6 of the treating customer fairly outcomes, which is set out by the FCA. And what are these 6 requirements? So these are: fair treatment of customers is central. Number 2 is products and services are for customers. Number 3 is clear info is provided at all stages to the customer. Number 4 is advice is suitable. Number 5, the products provided perform as promised. And number 6 is customer doesn't face unreasonable post-sale barriers when it comes to changing the product or switching the provider or the product and submitting a claim or complaint. So now the biggest question, how do you become an AR? And there's a step-by-step process on how you do it. So firstly, you need to decide which regulated activities you want to get involved in, because that will help you also choose the network. So that's the first thing you need to do. What type of regulated activities you want to get involved in. Number two, you need to find a principal firm who is in that type of business. Next, you need to decide if you want to be an AR or an introducer AR. So there's a slight difference between the two. So what's an introducer AR? I'll quickly touch up on that. An introducer AR or an IAR is simply promotes and introduces consumer to the principal firm. So basically, as an IAR, you're not really carrying out any activities yourself. All you're doing is just you're an introducer to the network or to the principal firm. So that is another route you can go down if you didn't want to be an AR and carry out the activities and deal with the customers when selling the products or whatever. You can just introduce the customer directly to the network, and the network then just takes it and carries out the work, basically. Next, you need to learn about the contract. So as I mentioned earlier, there will be a contract between yourself and the principal. So you need to learn about the contract. You need to read it carefully and look at all the terms and conditions that are laid out by the principal. And next, the principal notifies the FCA about you, so you can be on the FCA register. So you're registering, when you register with a network, the network will let FCA know that, yeah, you have joined their network and you're going to be carrying out these activities as an AR for them. The next one is very important to a lot of people. At the end of the day, we're all in this to make money. So I'm just going to touch upon quickly about proc fees, so procuration fees. So with the procuration fee, you receive a proc fee either on exchange or completion, depending on the network you join. So each network has different arrangements with their AR. So some will pay you on exchange when the property is just being exchanged, and most of them that I've come across will pay you on the completion of a deal. Also, the percentage you receive will vary network to network, but then there's a lot of different things you have to look at. So it's not just the proc fee you look at various other things, but the percentage of proc fee can vary network to network. Also, the other cost to your customer, or what you charge, is broker fee. Now, a broker fee is a topic which again varies network to network. Some networks will let you keep 100% of the broker fee, and that's just between you and the client. Some networks would want a portion of the broker fee. Some may have requirements of the minimum broker fee you need to charge or the maximum broker fee you can charge. So when you are talking to a network or doing your research or negotiating, make sure you discuss these things and you fully understand about proc fees, and also you understand about the broker fee. What are some of the costs involved when it comes to becoming an AR? So firstly, there may be a network joining fee, depending on the network. Some networks will charge you a monthly fee. Also, the percentage of the proc fee, which we already touched upon, is another one. There's a professional indemnity insurance, which again, when you join a network, a lot of times this is included in the package with them. When you do, some may say you have to go get it yourself separately. So that is a cost you need to incur. And the other one is an FCA fee. So again, sometimes you pay it separately, but when you're joining a network, a lot of the principal or networks would want to take hassle out of your life, and they'll just say, listen, let's just pay one fee and that's it. That will cover all the fees. So you can just concentrate on doing your job and not have to worry about all these various fees yourself. So what are some of the pros and cons of being an AR? So I'm going to go through some of the pros first. Number one is it can save you time. So being an AR, you can become become an AR once you've submitted your application in as little as few weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. Sometimes it can take a bit longer depending on the due diligence and the checks a network is doing, but you can become an AR quite fast as compared to becoming directly authorized. It can take up to 6 months, sometimes maybe a year. So going down the AR route will save you time in just getting going and starting work basically. The other thing also that you will save time on, so when you become a DA or directly authorized, you'll have to provide things like business plans and details of your procedures, provide compatibility of key persons in the business. Again, these things can take up a lot of your time when you could be writing some valuable business to yourself. Also, ongoing training of staff and ongoing due diligence that can also take a bit of time, and so going down the AR route can save you time in those things. Next is saving money. So the cost of authorization application starts from £1,500, depend on permissions you're applying for. Now you can save on costs such as IT system costs, staffing, also compliance cost, and the PI insurance or professional indemnity insurance, because as I mentioned, some of the networks can include all these things in just their flat fee, and that can cover all these costs for you. So once again, when you're talking to a network, make sure you are discussing these things and finding out about them. Another big plus point or a pro of being an AR is just the ongoing support you receive from the network. So you'll receive ongoing compliance and also staying up to date with the FCA requirements. Also, you receive business development support with a lot of the networks, which is a big plus. Ongoing training and personal development. So again, various type of courses you can do and studies you can do, or the reading material and things like that the network can provide you. Another big pro also is admin support. So a lot of the networks will provide you admin support. So if you're a one-man band, that can work really well for you. So you can, just concentrate on writing business or dealing with a client, and then the network can provide you with admin support. A lot of time it can be included in your main fee, or it can be something additional you can add on top, but that's another benefit of being an AR. You can get some admin support. The next one is also you can focus on clients. So all these things that the network just takes on board, you can just clear your mind and you can just focus on your client and winning new business and business development. It frees up your time for business development. You can spend a bit more time building relationships with your client. Also, it frees up your time to do networking and going out there and again, developing new business and winning new clients. With pros, there's always cons. So what are some of the cons of being an AR? There can be a delay in payment to you. So a lot of times you cannot receive, you cannot receive payments directly. So when obviously your deal completes, the lender will pay the network. The network then will pass the part of the proc fee or the broker fee or whatever the income is on to you. And in some cases, you're part of the network, but you also have to become part of a mortgage club, because a lot of the lenders will pay through the mortgage club, and then it goes to the network, and then it comes to you. So it can be a bit of a long cycle. So payment delay can be an issue when you're an AR. Key thing it can do for you is basically just impact your cash flow in your business. So just make sure you're aware of this thing when you're discussing becoming an AR with a network. Another con, which a lot of the brokers don't feel comfortable about, is giving data access to the AR. So you're going to have to give data access to the network or the principal, as well as access to your staff and premises, including confidential information. You are unable to store data. Therefore, you cannot remarket to customers by email or potentially sell a list of customer records when selling the site. So that's another thing you have to keep in mind, that when you're an AR, technically they have access to all your data and staff and all the credentials. So just be mindful of that, and that can kind of long term something that can impact you. Lastly, you're giving away a share of your earnings. As I mentioned earlier, when you go through an AR, you're giving away a share of your proc fee. You're maybe giving away a share of your broker fee, but then that's a cost you're going to pay for the other benefits. But again, some people look at it as a con, as a broker, like, you know what, I'm doing all the hard work. I'm paying your monthly network fee. And then on top of that, I'm going to have to give you a share of my proc fees as well. So make sure when you are talking to networks out there, you fully understand how the share of proc fee works. So everyone, this was the episode, and it told you all about what you need to know about becoming an AR. I hope you found it useful. What I always say is, if you are looking to become an AR, do your research. There are number of networks out there. When I was looking to become an AR, I went down the DA route myself. When I was doing the research of being an AR, I think I must have spoken to maybe 10 to 15 different networks, and everyone will be different from the other. So just make sure you do your research in order to make an informed decision, and the right decision that is right for you and your business. If you found this video useful, which I hope you did, please give this video a thumbs up and give this channel a subscribe for more future content. Becoming self-employed finance broker. This is a multi-part series. In the next part, I will be discussing details on how to become directly authorized with the FCA. So you can then compare between an AR and becoming a DA. Once again, leave us a comment, send me your questions. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.